Universal Design. Chapter 2. Design Elements Within Building Premises. Toilet. Every washroom or public toilet complex shall ensure accessibility provisions for all disability and gender types. This essentially means making adequate space provisions like for maneuvering wheelchairs, baby prams or other assistive devices, provision of supportive features like grab rails, lever-type handles, etc. and well-maintained and hygienic environment. Provision of accessible information through multi-format information systems shall remain an integral feature for universally accessible washrooms. An all-inclusive and universally accessible washroom system shall ensure provisions for diverse cultural choices as well. This implies provision of 25% Indian-style WC cubicles in public toilet environment. The provision of the accessible toilets shall be such that any wheelchair user/ambulant disabled person doesn't have to travel more than 30 meters on the same floor. Accessible public toilet layout. Accessible public toilet layout. Detail of accessible washroom with double swing door and sliding door plan. Detail of accessible washroom, plan and sectional elevation. Detail of accessible Indian washroom, layout and sectional elevation. Typical toilet detail. Accessible urinal plan layout and sectional detail for disabled toilet. Signages. The main purpose of signs should be to provide a clear designation of places, warnings and routing information. A person in a wheelchair is less than 1,200 mm high. A person who is partially sighted needs contrasting texture alongside walkways and audible signs for dangerous areas. Signs should be useful to everyone, easily seen from eye level, readable by moving the fingers and well lighted for nighttime identification. Signs shall indicate the direction and name of the accessible facility and incorporate the symbol of access. The size, type and layout of lettering on signs shall be clear and legible. Signs should be in contrasting colors and preferably be embossed in distinct relief to allow visually impaired persons to obtain the information they contain by touching them. Simple symbols and contrasting colors which are universally recognized should be used, for example green for safety or go, yellow or amber for risk or caution, and red for danger. Types of signage depending on the purposes it serves. Signage can be of following types: directional, information, identification, instructive or advisory, health, safety, and emergency. 1. Directional signs have a key purpose to provide wayfinding information to navigate in or around a physical environment. Arrowheads with travel routes at specific locations can aid wayfinding for diverse user groups. 2. Information signs help in orientation in a built environment by indicating specific locations in an environment. This includes "You are here" labels along with other building identification signs such as zone identification in public buildings or transportation hubs. 3. Identification signs are used to display necessary information to users, enabling them to identify a specific facility or location in built environments. Example: an accessible washroom facility may be identified by an accessibility sign outside the facility. 4. Instructive or advisory signs may include signage that provide instructions of diverse types or concern with human behavior aspects in built environments. 5. Health, safety and emergency sign. Such signs include signage demarcating equipment for health emergencies or safety issues like fire, etc. Such signage may perform a life-saving role in the context of a built environment. Reference for signages and wayfindings. Reference for signages and wayfindings. Guiding blocks. Places to install guiding blocks for persons with impaired vision. Immediately in front of a location where there is vehicular traffic. Immediately in front of an entrance/exit to and from a staircase or multi-level crossing facility. Entrance/exit to and from public transportation terminals, or at boarding areas. Sidewalk section of a guiding or approaching road to the building. Path from a public facility which is frequently visited by persons with impaired vision, for example a city hall or library, to the nearest railroad station, to be installed at intervals. Other places where installation of a guiding block for persons with impaired vision is considered effective, for example locations abruptly changing in level or ramp. Tactile ground surface indicators are interpreted as landmarks. There are two types of tactile ground surface indicators: warning indicators, directional indicators. Tactile warning indicators. Type. Warning indicators, as the name suggests, warn of either a hazard or a destination. For example, a warning indicator near the edge of a staircase landing warns of the edge of the landing which, otherwise, would pose a significant hazard to a pedestrian with low vision. As the person approaches the edge, the tactile warning treatment will be identified either by the white cane or underfoot, thus warning of an impending drop to the staircase. Tactile guiding indicators. Line type. Tactile guiding or directional indicators are used to direct the user from one point to another along a safe path of travel. They are only required when there are insufficient cues from other sources to achieve the same result. Different guiding block layouts. Different guiding block layouts. Counters. To make a counter easily accessible for a wheelchair user, allow a space about 700 mm high and 350 mm deep under the counter. Water fountains. Drinking. Allow sufficient space around the water fountain to make it easily accessible for wheelchair users. Depending on the type of water fountain, allow a space about 700 mm high and 350 mm deep under the fountain. Telephones. Allow a space about 700 mm high and 350 mm deep under the telephone stand. The telephone receiver must be placed at a height of 1 IOCM or less. Mailboxes. The mail slot must be located at a height of 1200 mm or less. Vending machines. The coin slot must be located at a height of 1200 mm or less. Drinking water provision. 1. Access route to drinking water be well defined, well illuminated and supported with wayfinding signage. 2. The space should be well maintained, hygienic and safe to move around with the provision of minimum 900 mm wide apron around the water spouts. 3. Drainage covers, gratings and proper slopes to be provided for water spillage as per section 3.6, to avoid waterlogging or muddy situations. 4. A clear space of 900 mm by 1200 mm be provided in front of the water fountains or faucets as maneuvering spaces for wheelchairs and other mobility devices like baby prams, rollators, etc. Standard details for information counters and drinking water fountain for wheelchair users. Standard details for information counters, vending machine and outdoor phone units for wheelchair users.